First on the deal room today, we look at the IPO of an Australian pharmaceutical play. Firebrick Pharma exploded onto the ASX on Friday in one of the most successful market debuts so far this year. After raising $7 million with 20-cent shares, the stocks have been trading up close to 200%. One of the founders, Dr. Peter Molloy, developed the betadine sore throat gargle in the mid-80s. He and the Firebrick Pharma team have been working with the same ingredient base to launch a nasal spray to stop COVID and other colds at the nose.
Firebrick is a new Australian pharmaceutical company with a breakthrough nasal spray product called Nasodine. This contains the same active ingredient as is found in most products that sell under the betadine brand, which is called povidone iodine. Now, the virtue of that compound is that it kills all viruses. So that's a very handy attribute to have in a nasal spray, as you can imagine. We have developed it as a treatment for the common cold, and we have completed the full spectrum of clinical trials, phase 1, phase 2, and one phase 3 trial. And we're undertaking a second phase 3 trial this year. So it's a well-advanced product. And once it's approved, we believe it will be seen as the world's first nasal spray medicine that actually targets the viral cause of the common cold, where colds start and where they propagate, which is in the nose.
But what's to stop betadine from quickly developing a product that competes with yours?
Any such use would be in breach of our patents. We have a very strong patent position on the use of any form of povidone iodine in the nose as a treatment or preventative for the common cold. Any company that promoted that use would be in breach of our patents. We also have other patents that bridge the patent protection to include highly pathogenic viruses such as COVID-19 and pandemic flu and other viruses. So we have a very strong patent position that protects us against any company wanting to market a Me Too product.
Firebrick Pharma has been around for a while. Can you tell me a bit about how it started and also about the experience of yourself and the other founder?
Well, my background has been in the pharmaceutical industry, and I've also been CEO of several biotech companies. But early in my career, I was responsible for the betadine product range in Australia. I had a lot of experience with povidone iodine, and I launched the product that's been very successful called betadine sore throat gargle. That was an innovation. Australia was the first country in the world to see that product, and still has not been introduced in a number of other countries. So it was a true Australian innovation. And as a microbiologist by training, it occurred to me that if it works in the throat to treat the viruses, to treat the sore throats that are generally caused by viruses, it should work in the nose. But I never developed that idea while I was still with the company that had the rights to betadine. Now, subsequently, I met up with Dr. Stephen Goodall, who's a very good pharmaceutical chemist, and our backgrounds meshed perfectly. And we set up Firebrick with the mission to create a povidone iodine-based nasal spray as the world's first effective treatment for the common cold.
Is it possible that the viruses can build a resistance to this drug?
Resistance is a big problem with viruses because, as we've seen with COVID-19, they can mutate rapidly. And they can evolve around targeted approaches and vaccines. With povidone iodine, with Nasodine, there's no opportunity for the viruses to develop resistance because it has a non-selective mode of action. It's actually quite brutal in the way it destroys viruses. It punches holes through the virus and they can't recover from it. They can't mutate around it. And yet it's safe to use on human skin. I like to think of it as the Goldilocks of disinfectants because it's just right. It kills all the bugs, but it's safe to use on mucous membranes.
So can it also be preventative?
We have developed it as a treatment for the common cold. And once it's approved for that indication, you can do additional trials to get additional indications approved. So one of those trials we may want to do is a prevention study to show that it not only works as a treatment, but it also works as a preventative. We have not done those studies yet, so I can't say what the answer is to that question specifically.
Of course, through joining the ASX, you have access to extra capital, and you've been able to raise $7 million through the IPO process. What will that money allow you to do?
Well, that money is going to allow us to complete all of our proposed clinical trials. So we have 2 late-stage clinical trials taking place in 2022. That's our schedule. And to continue product development, because we have a range of other products in development apart from the Nasodine nasal spray. So we'll fund that, and it will fund all our operating costs. And our projections indicate that'll last us probably 2 years. And by then, we may be generating revenues from the sale of Nasodine.
It's quite a bold move, isn't it, to launch a company off the back of just one product?
It happens all the time, especially in the biotech sector where companies have an early stage program and they're banking that they're going to be able to develop that idea. Often it is just an idea to the point where they can do a massively profitable pharmaceutical deal. And often that doesn't happen. In our case, we've taken a lot of the risk out of the program because we are already a late stage product and we have a range of other products in development. So we're not a one-trick pony.
Can you tell us about the other products?
I cannot at this stage for competitive and intellectual property reasons because some of them are subject to recently filed patents. But let's just say that it gives us a good news flow stream for the future.
That was Dr. Peter Molloy speaking from country Victoria for Firebrick Pharma. If all goes according to plan, the product could be available to consumers sometime next year. Firebrick has a market cap of $96 million and share trade opened at 59 cents today.